Hello everyone and welcome to July. I'm here to bring you your July general readings. I hope you're all having a great summer, and for those of you in the southern hemisphere, a great winter. We just rounded the solstice here, so we're going to bring it in through July. First off, I'm conducting a little bit of a giveaway. I love your guys' comments so much, and I want to keep encouraging the comments to stay alive and to stay inspired as we build this little YouTube channel and the community begins to grow. The number of views was down, which I'm actually quite happy for. That means a lot of people are actually out getting after it and out getting her done. So that's really good to see. But for those of you that are watching, your moon, your sun, and your ascendant signs, leave comments, inspired comments, and I may pick you to receive this Tarot of the Elves tarot just kind of at random. I want you guys to know that I read all of your comments and I try to respond to as many of them as I can. So as well, check the description box down below. There's some new ways to get in touch with me. I'm on Instabook and Facegram and Patreon now, so feel free to get in touch with me if you would like. Please remember that these readings are for entertainment purposes only. Without further ado, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy your readings. Okay, hello Gemini. Thank you so much for your patience. You guys were last in a series of videos. It actually took me a few extra days to get it all done and to get it all out amidst of living a life and some technical problems and some things going on. I was delayed for a few days, and you guys, I read the signs in order, so thank you so much for being patient. It's finally up for you. Let's see what's going on for Gemini in July 2017. We're asking Tarot for healing messages, hidden and stuck energies to come forward this time, so they can, at least we can bring them into our awareness for the next 2 weeks in July 2017. Again, the messages for Gemini. Oh yeah, Tarot knows the messages are for Gemini. It's like kind of like say it once, say it twice, the third time's the charm. But there we go. We got it sort of deep in the cuts this time on this one. Gemini subscribers know we're going to lay out 7 cards to get an overall general feeling of what's going on. And we'll take a look at the bottom of the deck as you set your intention for this reading. And we'll see what's up in the overall energy. You guys have had Page of Cups here, so this is good. Some of you are definitely feeling optimistic at this time, I feel, with this Page of Cups. There is sort of like a blindness to this card that occurs. And it's not really like a veil type blindness or like being blindfolded. This is kind of like a slow revelation coming about, and it's usually in regards to like emotions and how we're feeling. All right, some of you may be feeling, sometimes you hear that certain song on the radio and it just brings you to like tears or brings you to a point of euphoria or elation with Page of Cups, and you're not sure like, why is that song do that to me? I don't really know why, but it's asking you to take a deeper look there, right? There's certain things that where your heart is probably trying to express to you at this time, right? Perhaps you're caught up too much in one thing, and it's like your heart is asking you to turn away from it for a moment, or to live in a position of understanding of what that is, or why that is there, prevalent and present in your life at this time. The Page of Cups is like understanding that has yet to be gained a lot of times. They say the pages come with a message, and cups is usually that of understanding and revelation, right? Because the cups are like the intangible things. Emotions, truly, they can only be felt, and it's not even like a feeling you get on your skin, like in terms of that sensory perception. Emotions are like felt on it, even the things that feel it are intangible. We don't know what we're feeling, and we don't know what it is that's doing the feeling, so to speak. It's almost like our breath, right? It just happens. It just occurs. It's both present and prevalent in our life, right? So the fact that it's understanding, we're coming to grips with what that is, why that is, what it's used for, right? That sort of thing for a lot of us could be at present time, or could be the reason why you're here and you've joined me in this moment in space and time. And thanks for doing so. We're going to set that overall energy up at the top there as we work our way through the cards. We'll try and relate back and see what extra messages Page of Cups has brought us for this reading. All right, down in the grounding area, we've got Two of Cups. Wow. So this is definitely relationship-based, Gemini. This reading, for a lot of you, I feel, have come here. And Two of Cups usually signifies that the relationship could be in its initial stages, or it just could be so much in harmony that it feels like the initial stages, right? They call it the honeymoon phase, or it's like where the world can fall away and you just sort of only want to be with that one person. They're there, and whenever you both have that free moment in your schedule, you're not doing anything else. You're there, you're with them, and you're together. Now, Gemini, I got to express this because these are general readings. If you're single at this time, you may find that portions of this reading will resonate with you and portions of it will not. Nobody claims to be perfect. Help as many people as you can all at once. There could be more coming that is messages for singles. But for this Two of Cups, if you are single at this time, remain very optimistic in your day-to-day living that fulfilling relationship, if that's what you're desiring, could come at any given moment. And for some of you, that relationship could still come even if you're not desiring it, if you're not wanting it. Isn't it interesting when we have maybe some sort of solo type enterprise or like entrepreneurial or passionate hobby that you're doing, that's when like love arrives at your doorstep and now you have to make time for a relationship. So some of you are going to get it whether you want, like maybe you didn't want it at this time and it's going to be there. And then for others of you, it's just saying, all right, you have to ask yourself, when we're in harmony, who can we share our love with? Who can we share our joy of our passions with? It doesn't always have to mean that it's romantic dinners and like sex between satin sheets. It's not always like that. Maybe it's just something where in your situation where it's like you love brushstroke or you love the abstract nature of finger painting. Where can we go to meet people who are of like mind, of like nature even, that go out and do these things? There are so many great ways now that the internet can bring people together based on an interest. Like there's like the meet me groups or the meetup groups, and all you have to do, you just have to follow your heart into cross stitch or golf or like a Muay Thai fighting or whatever it might be, and then it will take you there to that community of people where this harmony exists, right? And I encourage you to get into that, all right? It's a very good positive energy to see in your grounding. And if it's a person or it's a thing, right, know that it's the harmony that's probably speaking to you. And that's probably why we have this rainbow up in this reading, is like coming through music. What is that? Perfect three-part harmony or whatever they say, right? But that feeling of harmony, when your energy centers are balanced, when you are feeling grounded, or when you are feeling that your heart is open, or you are maybe feeling like you're communicating effectively and that you're visioning things very properly, dreaming very vividly, that's when these energy centers in our body are alive and are awake. And when they're spinning together, that's when this harmony is created and we become more aligned with ourselves. And that draws us, that makes us the law of attraction, where energetically we're aligned closest to the people that we are most amicable with, and that we will choose to share our love with them based over that. And those feelings that come, it's so intense. It's like a lot of times there's the intensity to the positive side of love and attachment and interdependent relationships, where we are like, this person is the only thing in our heart, mind, and our soul right now, is this relationship with this person or a thing. And it's almost like when things are like, when we think about things like pain and fear, we think, oh, that's intense. But love and harmony, there's the intensity that exists on that side of the polarity, on that side of that dynamic, right? For a lot of you, when we read these cards, we won't go into things like the Tao or just like the very like Zen Buddhist type like ways of thinking, because for a lot of you that are here, in terms of where I feel like collectively the ascension process is happening, a lot of us are like still where we can sense these polarities, where it's like we're chasing the happiness card, right? We want to catch up to happiness, right? For a lot of us. And that means running this gamut through all of these different emotions. This is a big message. This is going to be a big time for Gemini, I feel, to experience more of the finer, intangible things for a deeper understanding of what it all means, so to speak. And Cups is your emotions is a great place to start. And so is your relationships, because relationships provide us with that ultimate mirror of where we're at in our own personal journey and how we are aligning those things. Let's move on. We got Three of Swords reversed up in Sacral. All right. Some of you are definitely in a situation where probably have experienced certain things now where you've defined where that line between lust, love, trust, betrayal, loyalty, where all of that fits into the larger spectrum, right? When we begin to look at polarities, even though they say, well, polarity's bad, singularity is what you want, what polarities do is they provide us with a spectrum, which is an excellent map to find out where we are between here and there, right? Or good or bad, or yin or yang, or whatever it is. There's that spectrum that's created in between, right? So with Three of Swords, what I feel is you've taken certain experiences now, and it's reversed. So I'm glad we're not dealing with it like this, which would be so counterintuitive, right? But we were looking at it like this. It's like showing that these things are probably a result of your experiences, and now you're aligning them in that spectrum of where it fits on how you define things. Well, where is the line that I feel allowed to trust people? And where is the line where I know whether or not people are being loyal to me or not? And where is that line of whether I know that this person is being faithful to me, to the degree, and they can assure that to me without me having to like constantly bug them, go through certain confidence issues. You are quick to dismiss something that happens as just like, okay, that's the way it is. I don't have to look too much further into it. I can just get back into resonating with who I am, where my heart is, how much I love this person, and it's going to be okay, right? This Three of Swords is like you guys finding your own comfort levels or your own thresholds in regards to how far or how willing you are to put yourself out there to that person, to that love of your life, to that twin flame, that person that really like does it for you. And if you are in a position where you are single, this card is asking you just to do what we exactly talked about, in terms of like, you don't have to like go on certain dates to like evaluate and judge people. But what you want to do is kind of like, maybe if you're like window shopping on like the old Tinder, Plenty of Friends, what you can do is you can like look at certain like key words or key points or mannerisms and how people develop their profiles, where you can say, all right, that's a red flag to this, and I know that I don't want to be involved with this because I react a certain way to that type of behavior. And it's like even that person on the other end might be of the communication may be very beautiful and very, very hot and steamy and sexy, but you just know like it's not worth changing that if that's like something that is like deep instilled with them, and they so much so that it shows up on a dating profile or through a first date action, right? Like maybe they're just straight up rude to the waiter, and you're like, that's not going to do it for me, because where do you draw the line? You are setting the boundaries now. You are setting the perimeter for what it takes to be within reason in terms of dealing with you in terms of your harmony again, right? Because if we're single, we don't want to keep entering into situations that are not harmonious. We want to find this place, and if it means being single for a time, that's okay. That's just fine, because more likely than not, it's going to find you. All right, moving on into our intuitive center and our solar plexus and our willpower. We have the Eight of Cups reversed, okay? So some of you may feel very much like there's no reason to move from where it is that you're doing. And I feel that same way for you guys, Gemini. You guys, it's almost like you guys are in the right place in the right time. We wouldn't have these types of energies showing up to like show you things, teach you things, to give you bliss, to give you blessings, if you weren't intuitively in the right place at the right time. Eight of Cups is saying you probably can take a good look around the room right now, or around your property or your house or your dwelling or even your neighborhood, and you know what? You say, you know what? Even though there's some shit that goes down sometimes, or, this little thing, that could be better, or this little thing could be good, I'm actually, pretty content with, if I tried to picture myself living in, like, a different part of the world, or in a different culture, or in maybe just a couple counties over, like, would things really be better? Maybe your mind would tell you that, oh, yeah, the people would be different, would be all a lot better, but maybe in your heart is realizing, you know what? Well, it's all the same. Why don't I just make the best of what I have right now? And the Eight of Cups often ask that. Are we making the best of the blessings that are in our life? It doesn't mean we're not thankful for them. You could certainly be grateful for them, but are we making the best of it? Are we using all of these resources and all of these experiences to our advantage, right? So I see this being like you guys in a time of self-analyzing, you in juxtaposed with your environment and other people at this time, but it's more so for a benefit. It's more so for like a learning program that you're in control of. It's very interesting energy to see this. It's like you guys will be teaching yourselves almost like new lessons, right? And I feel that there's a sun moved out of your sign now and into Cancer, it's going to sort of free up, like sort of being last in line with this, where the time is, or where as the sun moves in the signs, you guys are free to be in this reflective type energy and this sort of self-teaching, self-taught type things. And it's like a lot of nostalgia may come up over these next couple of weeks. Memories, thoughts, and these feelings. Like I said, these songs on the radio, or these, so this a certain smell when you walk into a room is going to remind you of a person, and it might trigger an emotion. You might be surprised that happened to you, but it's all a part of like this Sun and Cancer type energy that you guys, it's just kind of the way that you guys are feeling that. Okay, so Eight of Cups. Are we making the best of everything that we have? And I think if we took a good long look around, many of you would find like there's no need to really radically change things. Just more so like honing the stuff in, putting it into the grounding, and making it the best that you can is probably the answer than trying to cut and run. Okay? That's the feeling I got. Moving up into Heart of Hearts, you guys have a Page of Pentacles reversed. So there's another page here. And this time the Page of Pentacles is asking the same thing. It's almost like saying what we just talked about. Some of you are not making the most of what you have. Some of you have been blessed with certain resources, certain things in your life, and you've only embraced them maybe halfway or like half-stepped, right? I don't want to be your accuser. I don't want to say, you did this and this was awful in your life, because it might not resonate. It's a general reading, right? But Page of Pentacles is saying we have to almost like, if we're going to be in this like program of realization that we're going through, or it's kind of like you're doing it for self, you have to visualize, you have to be able to apply it. Okay, well, what is the reward now, right? Where does it stand? Some of you may have situations where it's like you could be driven passionately to be involved with people and sharing your love right now, but your heart may be feeling at a time too, it's like, how much of myself do I give up in relationships? How much is my time spent sacrificing for my children, my husband, my wife, my thems or their partner, my lover, right? Maybe a parent. Yeah, and you do these things, you sacrifice them out of love, but you're feeling like maybe it's detracted from the time factor. Maybe you're still working on the other side of town, and you live over there, but you got to travel back to this side of maybe like 40, 50 miles away, just so that you can make sure maybe an aging parent is getting along okay, or that the kids are doing all right at the baby daddy's house or whatever it might be. And it's like now you have to run them and pick them up from the commute to school is further away, and it's like the sense is like the heart is almost like, this is too much, this is feeling too much, like not like woe is me, life is too hard type thing, but it's like we have to be, again, doing our best to like refine things so that everything is fitting in the spectrum. And then from that, I think even being able to sort of negotiate time schedules throughout each and every day will help you feel a little bit lighthearted. I almost feel like through all this, even though there's harmony and love here, some Geminis are finding that inability to just sort of like straight up like have a burst of laughter or true enjoyment in the moment of the situation. And if you can ask yourself, Gemini, how long has it been since I've like had a real good belly laugh? How long has it been since I really just like laughed so hard till I farted kind of thing, right? And maybe woke yourself up out of a dream, right? Those are the kind of things you might want to kind of find a way to lighten the air around you through certain thought process and through just like, if you're being too tough on yourself, if you're going through all these things where you're analyzing this about you and you're asking for this from the universe, maybe you're getting a lot of readings to learn more insight about yourself, about where you're at, but then it's like, remember to let that all go. Remember to allow it to manifest on its own timeline, right? You're just kind of like co-creating it. We can't ever like break it down into those nuts and bolts and then put it all back together on our own timeline. A lot of this has to occur with the universe and with Source in its own divine timing, right? And that's okay. Even though some of you may be feeling like this is like somebody almost feeling like too broke to make a move, too broke to enjoy these harmonious things that I was talking about. And whoever that is out there that's on the receiving end, my heart goes out to you on this. I've been here before. I've been in this situation where I felt so broken down, so with that lack mentality, that have not mentality, like how could I ever get a beautiful lady to fall for me if I didn't have like maybe a nice car, or a nice place to come back to, and sharing a small apartment with a roommate or something like that, or I had so much of my hobbies spread out all over the place, it maybe just wasn't even inviting to bring somebody back to get into this Two of Cups type energy with, right? And some of you may be feeling like, there's just certain things, there's self-esteem issues at hand that could be. Normally we see those confidence and those esteem issues with the Page of Wands, but this Page of Pentacles reversed could be saying that could be economic esteem issues, and those are very real. Don't ever let relationship tell you that you're not. You got to know, right? If there's someone's a VP of marketing and another person is, serving the counter at Burger King, it doesn't mean one of them is better and one of them is worse. They just have their own journey, their own struggle to go through at this time. And my heart goes out to this person that is in the lower ends of these economic spectrum, looking at these cards and saying, yep, that's me. Yep, broke is a joke, no doubt about it, right? Or you know what, you want me to go out and put my best foot forward and show up to the club or the bar on the Saturday night? Sorry, Charlie, I got 2 kids to feed. I'm not going to make it. There's no way that that life is meant for me at this current point in time. And I get it. These are general readings, and my heart goes out to you fully. And what I want to let you know is that time moves this around, much like the sun goes through the signs of zodiac Gemini. The younger Geminis that are watching this and are going through this, it's like, don't worry, time is going to move through that, where you experience these times of lack so that you are reminded of the precious gift of life, and that it will eventually move out, so that when you are in awareness of that abundance sort of follows you around like a magnet. So much blessings will come in once we realize, like, we've seen things from the other side of the coin. We felt like we couldn't get any lower. This doesn't appear like dark night of the soul type stuff, but this is occurring in the heart, which means somebody's economic position has got to them so much that they're really starting to feel a lack of confidence and a lot of self-doubt about being around, and about being together with somebody. If this is very heavy for somebody that's watching, do go and seek a little help. Try and get someone in the community. Try and find someone to talk to about this very thing, so that we can help heal this. All right, for you and for all of us, anyone that would be going through that, even if you're cross-watching for somebody and you're like, I know somebody like that. I know somebody that really could use a helping hand, because you know what? When they walk around with only a $5 bill and that's got to get them through to next Friday, I know how tough that can be, and I realize what that's got to mean, how heavy that's got to be on that person. So maybe we open up to that person, and you could experience time where like tears are flowing and like, healing is occurring, right? Because it's a kind of one of those situations, all right? And that's on the money side of thing for you guys, man. This has been a really encompassing general reading, Gemini. I'm pretty excited to sort of be in this deep of waters with you guys, right? Because it's kind of like, it's got a good feeling about it, right? Even though the cards are coming up like boom, 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 right? This in your grounding is like, it's pretty triumphant. It's pretty good to say that I have no doubt about how much harmony you guys have, but we're going through these levels of self-understanding. So we will be touching on these deep things, right? And now we've got a 10 of Wands reverse. So the certain stresses, the certain things that we were wanting to leave behind, right? And I have that feeling that this coincides very much with this. When we're making the best of what we have, and when we're saying like what I've worked for in my life isn't so bad, it's not all bad. We don't need radical change, right? Some of you may feel like you actually do, or you would actually would like to put down these certain stressful things. Well, if we go on like old Ascended Masters teaching, right, it's kind of like you need to make your shoulders light. You need to make your life less cumbersome, right? You need to find these ways, and a lot of times it comes through our spirit and our passionate, the intangible things like that the wands represent, right? They cross all the rivers of all the other suits. The wands could be any of them, right? It's all about their relationship to us and to our spirit when they become a wand, right? And we have 10 of those things up in a reversal. So yeah, you could be feeling stressed out. You could be feeling like, well, how am I supposed to never get into that situation again? If you're going to say only trust like certain people and red flag out other people from relationships. How is that supposed to work? It seems counterintuitive, I know, but this 10 of Wands is saying like you can have what you want. And it's almost like gets to the point of be careful what you wish for, which I feel like a lot of you know, right? A lot of you have heeded that warning in the past of being careful what you wish for. But this 10 of Wands is saying like, do you have it within you to carry with you the dreams that you have? And at what point do these dreams conflict with each other, and at which point do these dreams coincide with one another? So instead of like dropping everything and starting fresh, what we're doing is we're like maybe taking 10 wands and bringing it down to 4, right? So it's like, wow, we have those solid foundations in our life, and it's not like there's going to be too much on our shoulders that we collapse. What we end up having is, instead of like sort of weak links in a chain, we just chop that chain, and now we have a nice shorter, stronger chain where we know the good portion of it is all real, and each link is a metaphor for something in our life that it truly belongs there. We've truly accepted into ourselves with all of our body and all of our being, right? And then this 10 of Wands doesn't have to come up so heavy duty. Now, this is in the throat chakra, the etheric, our communication, our listening, our speaking, even at times our seeing and our nonverbal communication, right? So 10 of Wands is saying you just may have trouble, like, talking to people. For those of you going out on a date, there may be certain situations where it's like you clam up, or there's certain situations where you're like, you may be apprehensive to speak because you've been in a mindset where you're like, yeah, I am going to be observant right now. I'm just going to see what other people are doing to get a feel for it. And I don't want to be the one that like loses their cool and bursts out, right? And so some of you may be just reminding that, or have been in that particularly energy so long where it's just like, you may not feel like talking to people. You may not feel like talking to anyone, especially like you kind of pick and choose, right? I see you guys maybe even declining certain social occasions, even though the person that invited you like, but you know that going there may be somebody there that you don't like, and you're just like flat out like, no way, I'm not going, kind of thing, because I don't want to have to face this. I don't want to talk to this person about all this crap that has occurred, so to speak, all right? And that sort of thing. As well, with 10 of Wands up in communication, some of you have made at present time may be forgetting to speak to your higher self, to find your place of stillness and speak to the angels and the spirit guides that are there to help you. They're always about in silence, but when we decide to talk to them, we can always find that level of reassurance or that level of happiness that there is divine protection there, all right? So whoever you're communicating with, there's been maybe a forgetfulness or an apprehension that's there, and that's what I see in 10 of Wands. All right. Pineal gland, though, look at this. We've got number 7 major, the Chariot, and this is our first major arcana to come up in this reading, and this is a very positive one. This is one, like this self-understanding, this inner work that you guys are doing is on the fast track to success. This card always lets me know that you guys are ahead of the learning curve now, and in terms of catching up, like ascension-wise to a lot of the people out there. It's almost like you're tired of like reapplying old lessons to new mundane situations. You want to apply old lessons to things now of a higher frequency, like that you've understood, and you're like, maybe like, yeah, like if it wasn't for that occurring in my life, there's no way I'd be here right now in this moment in space and time. And that's what it's all about. My goodness, I'm living my eternity in the now. My future is right now. Everything that I am, all that I could be, all my millions of past lives and all my future lives are culminating right now here into this point of singularity. And this Chariot card is saying like some of you are going to be experiencing that uplifting type feeling, right? I think the Christians call it like the Holy Spirit, the infilling of spirit. But like for people that are aware and are awake, that's like that moment. And born again is a very good kind of like it is a very good way of looking at it. But as long as you understand the metaphor behind it, right? It is that point where you are realizing that your awareness of your presence of your higher self in your etheric body is very real, that you're allowed to be alive on many different planes at the same time in this singularity, that this is happening for Gemini. And this is like, it's taken a long time for some of you, I feel, but your meditations and your spiritual work, your inner work, you will find it paying off huge dividends for you in these next couple of weeks of July. Sorry, that was a very powerful energy for me. That one kind of like almost made me like my neck come down with my chin on my chest, just to be like, wow, this is like higher stuff at work here. I got caught up in it because it was very beautiful. It was very like kaleidoscope-ish type, like, yes, this is the divine path that we are on. But as it relates to Gemini, we've got to bring it back. And I just want to say, big dividends paying off in the spiritual aspect of things, in the spiritual awareness and progression for you guys in these next 2 months. Maybe some of you, maybe the hot weather will like put you in a place where it's like, maybe some of you will start seeing auras, or the certain life energy that surrounds people as you walk through a busy park on a day, and you may see like maybe like an Aboriginal person that's there just very much in the swaying with the trees, and you might see like, okay, now that's a life energy that's different than maybe there's some egoic business consultant sitting on the park bench a few meters away, and you may see like, oh, whoa, that's really different than what I just saw, right? And that sort of thing. And these are like the kind of things, when the chariot's up in this third eye pineal gland, the stuff that we can become aware of to be like, wow, life is truly a blessing, and wow, we're really in the right place at the right time. Okay, man, we could talk about that for hours. Hit the go live button and just like talk about it for days on end, not even have a drink of water or a bite of tea. Okay, here we go. Up from source, you guys have the star card reverse. Okay, so what this means, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but it's like, yes, what are we applying now? When we're getting where we're going, some of you are going to be saying, are my previous dreams, are my old dreams really coinciding with what they want from one another? It's almost like you guys have to narrow this field. Pick one or two things and let the rest kind of fall by the wayside. And you will find that there will be a quicker progression to that thing, right? Or that wish, right? It's almost like the wishing process, the manifestation process. You may find it being stalled a little bit as well, even though you're coming into greater spiritual awareness, like this, what they call it, the secret or manifesting or whatever it is. You may find that these processes may be stalled just a little bit because as you experience these chariot energies, it's almost like the physical, the natural things are going to seem sort of less important or a little bit farther away, or that you're able to push them to the side for a little while. And you may find yourself not even wanting and desiring in that level of things anymore, right? And which is great, fulfilling news for those of you that were carrying this energy in your heart of being like, wow, I'm broke, I'm pissed off, I it even makes me want to yell at little kids and senior citizens because I'm this poor and this irate with the way things have turned out. This star energy is great to see that, because this is saying there's like, it's almost like, I would never encourage anyone to take psychedelics, but like certain things like fasting and getting into spirit can kind of have those similar effects, those similar results. And that for some of you, you may be deciding like tapping into spiritual endeavors, tapping into spirit, getting involved with community and spirit can help overcome that. Okay, because the star energy is saying like, are we really wishing? Is wealth really like a blessing? Well, maybe for 60 years it is, but for the greater part of our journey, it probably isn't, right? I had a beautiful viewer leave a comment on my page. It's saying that life was a business trip, because we have to consider when we have these deeper feelings, these deeper senses, these deeper emotions, that we know that it's more than the rat race. We are always tuned into that. And the less we can let go of that, the more we're going to find abundance in that balance. All right, Gemini, I don't know what more I can say. It's almost like somebody has closed a couple big solid oak doors on this reading and said, it's time to be quiet on it. It's time to like just let Gemini do their thing and, kind of like button your yapper already. All right, so I will. I'm going to give you Colette Barron's reads, Wisdom of the Oracle card, though, for a capstone. All right, these are wicked cards. These are wicked ones. And by wicked, I mean wicked good, wicked awesome. Sorry, I was an 80s child. When things were wicked, things were good. They're not like Wiccan, or they could be, but I don't know if they are or not. Card number 31. I like 31 as a number. I'm not a good enough numerologist to know what 31 is, but I know I like that number. And this card is why. So why do I like that number? Maybe I got to figure out why, right? But hey, all we have to do is look at that word, and we covered everything that we've talked about in the last 30 minutes, is because it all leads to why. It all is all that spectrum, or going towards happiness, right? That sort of thing. So I will read to you the message that came with this particular card, so that we can get the clear message of the creation. All right. The essential meanings of this card, number 31Y, are motives, driving intention, the power of knowing the why. There is great power in understanding your motives right now. The Oracle asks you to be very clear about why you're asking this question, looking for the answer, behaving in this way, and most importantly, making this choice. Knowing your why is the key to fulfillment. When you are clear about it in your attention, there will be a magnet for miracles. Motives define the nature of your experience. When you think about something, feel it, and then act on it, this invisible why is the life force energy within the seed, which brings it to life and holds the potential for growth. Okay, we talked about it. It's a reinforcement, right, to the reading. We were on a good track there, right, Gemini, and we talked about it with this chariot card, right, as being that growth that exists in the seed. Does it see, or can we define what we're feeling and the thing that's actually feeling it within inside of us, right? Why is that the way it is? It's the growth within the seed, which puts everything into that state of expansion, that we want to be a part of that energy. We want to see our singularity and the beautiful collective in all of that. Okay, Gemini, that was some deep waters, but I love you all, and we'll see you next time.